I'm not gonna lie to you. You could have given me 3 legal days to try to guess what noise this caterpillar made. I wouldn't have guessed that one. Come here. This is called the swallowtail caterpillar. This is based off of the actual Pokemon Caterpie. Yes, they are real, and there are 600 different versions of these types of caterpillars, and I don't want to meet one of them. They are located in every single continent except for Antarctica, meaning I will be moving soon. Does that make sense? Because apparently they'll just wander in the house. And they encourage you to put them somewhere where it's sunny. I'm not gonna lie to you. If one of these guys enters into my house and makes that noise, they can keep my house. I will be moving.
Man, it seemed like they ain't too common because I ain't never ran into one because I'm kind of scared of bugs. But if I seen one of those in my house, I'll probably go to. Buddy. I know that do kind of look odd. Reverse marriage.
I can't be the only one who was traumatized by this theory in 2009. MJ is alive. The woman who was at his funeral that no one knew who she was. Alive. The real Dave has blue eyes. The one in the interview has them black. Michael had previously disguised himself beyond recognition.
To liberate myself from my father and to establish myself as an artist.
I don't know. Dude kind of sound like Michael a little bit.
It was kind of like an artistic decision.
But then he got the Russell Simmons look going on.
To do that.
Were you at the hospital?
I was not in the hospital at the time. I was in interim back. May God bless you. I love you. May God bless you. I love you.
If you ever had a dream of robots having human faces, well, your dreams is coming true. Because now scientists have created robot human faces, but it gets better. Because this robotic human face, it can heal itself. So in the future, one of these robots get hit in the face by 223, it might just regenerate. Tight shit. Yeah, to add cherries on top, they say this was made out of living skin. Yeah, they said that they're binding living skin tissues to a mechanical robot surface. And this is what it's supposed to look like in full action.
Man, now the robots getting skin that can grow back. They becoming real and real like by the week seem like. It's going fast to me. Or am I tripping? Leave a comment below.
This does not look like it's supposed to be straight out of a scary movie. I'm totally not terrified. Not gonna lie to you, if I see a robot with a human face, it might get chin-chin.
According to the classified CIA documents, what are psychic abilities and what kinds are there? Intuitively speaking, they're just the seemingly paranormal abilities of the psyche, and they can be divided into 2 different types: bioinformation and bioenergetics. Bioinformation are the psychic phenomena associated with the sending or receiving of information through means other than the sensory channels or the physical body. This includes telepathy, which is the psychic transmission of mental information, either thoughts or emotions, and clairvoyance, which is the perception of information about objects, people, places, or events without actually physically perceiving them. You can think of it as perceiving things with your mind's eye, which psychically speaking has omnipresent vision, meaning it can see anywhere, any place, anytime. That's probably why the etymology of clairvoyance is literally clear vision, because it's as if you can finally see everything. Although for psychics, most of this information only comes in bits and pieces. And this includes precognition, which is psychically perceiving information about the future, or retrocognition, which is doing it for the past. And if you've ever heard of remote viewing, this is just another word for clairvoyance. Now we come to type 2, bioenergetics, which rather than being about psychically transmitting information, it's about psychically manipulating energy or matter. Another name for this is psychokinesis, and it includes mentally moving objects and mentally affecting electrical circuits. Now, as odd as these abilities may seem to us today, they've been reported for a very long time. For example, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which are 2,000 years old, mention the abilities known as siddhis, which includes clairvoyance, telepathy, levitation, and even the ability to manipulate the elements.
See, I believe that we do have certain abilities, but I don't think our brain can handle all that capacity. Everybody be passing out, heads exploding. Like, I feel like you got to condition yourself to be able to do certain things.
One ancient yogi, which is famously said to have the ability of psychokinesis, is Jetsun Milarepa, whereas the story goes, was able to imprint his hands on rocks, some of which can still be seen nearby the cave where he meditated.
We have had a huge translucent planet in the sky that's been observed for 6 years that we still can't say what it is. And it's always being caught from live cams out in Alaska. And of course we're going to have people that refuse to acknowledge reality and say it's a speck of dust. So here's a 6-hour time lapse of the sky moving, not the camera moving, and you see this moving. Again, this has been being seen for 6 years now. I really doubt that speck of dust has been there for 6 years. Besides, you can see it almost turning as it goes through the sky. I'll zoom it in right here. It's insane. And you can see how translucent it is as well. And I was also able with the same camera to get 2 different light sources. This one on the right ended up becoming the sun if you would play the thing as it moved out. Now apparently whenever they see this mysterious object in the sky, they turn off the cameras. And this were taken 6 days apart. Now we know that Nibiru is actually a dark red color, which you can clearly see here. No, it's not a lens flare, it has its own lens flare. So we know it's not Nibiru. So what is this? I mean,
If I had to guess, I think it was like a second defense to maybe what's happening in 2029. Who knows?
the pattern design on it looked kind of like a spaceship, you know, like going down the center and the notches on it. I'm sure the Alaskan people have legends as far as what this is. What do y'all think?
These are some of the craziest metal detector discoveries of all time. In 2010, an amateur treasure hunter from England let his 3-year-old son borrow his metal detector for the first time. Within minutes, he discovered a 500-year-old gold pendant worth right around $4 million. In 1992, a man from Great Britain was using a metal detector to find a lost hammer on his farm. But instead, he stumbled upon one of the largest collections of ancient Roman coins in the world, worth well over $5 million today. And yes, he found the hammer. In 2012, British man Wesley Carrington bought his first metal detector, and within 20 minutes found a collection of ancient Roman gold worth well over $100K.
I don't know about y'all, but this make me want to go out there and get me a metal detector. So don't be surprised if you see me on one of y'all beaches with my headphones on.
Diver Mike DeMar was on vacation in Florida when he decided to test out his metal detector during an expedition. The stars aligned when Mike found something he originally thought was junk that ended up being a rare golden chalice worth over $1.3 million. The cup is over 400 years old and likely came off a ship called the Santa Margarita, which sank off the coast of Key Largo in 1622.
Demystifying what 666 means. When people think of 666, they think of the devil, the Antichrist, but I'm here to tell you that it's a lot more scientific than you think. If you have studied organic chemistry or are familiar with the structure of the carbon atom, it's 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, and 6 protons. Guess what? That's 666. And when you draw it out, it is in the shape of a cube or a hexagon. It's also 666. Notice how the word atom, A-T-O-M, sounds like Adam, the first man, A-D-A-M. I have other scribbles on this page that I wrote, so you can pause to read, but I'm going on to another topic right now as to tell you why people associate 666 with the devil. So if you read tarot, you will know that the Lover's card and the Devil card is all 6. The number that represents this is 6. In esoteric knowledge, the Lovers is an enlightened pair. There's an angel above these two people. They are enlightened. With the devil card, you see Baphomet and these people are not enlightened. They chose their carnal desires. They chose their material desires. But why are they both the number 6? Again, this ties back to the 666. It's because this is human nature. Within humans, we have duality. We have enlightenment and we have our carnal desires. This is why in esoteric or satanic practices, you will see that Baphomet is always 6. But conversely, the lovers or the enlightened ones is also 6.
I don't know. It kind of sounded to me that 666, that's the makeup of melanin, right? So they're trying to associate with the beast. So basically, they're trying to say if you got melanin, then you associate you with the beast. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. Leave a comment how y'all feel.
Tying it back to the carbon atom, which makes up us human beings. We are made up of carbon atoms. Every organic being is made up of carbon atoms. This is almost like a metaphorical way of saying that this is our nature. 666 is our nature. We have free will to choose whatever we want in this material realm. So you can choose the path of enlightenment, which is the right-hand path, the lovers, or the path of the devil, which is the left-hand path. This is duality, the law of one. Internally, we are both the lovers and the devil. This is the law of duality, or one split into two. In reality, we are all the lovers and the devil in one. The biblical story of Eve biting the apple and getting the knowledge of good versus evil is actually just us human beings self-actualizing, realizing that we're conscious and we have free will. Look at this painting of Jesus and look at his hand, the one that he's raising. Now look at Baphomet, look at the hand he's raising. It's the same gesture. What the people in charge don't want you to know is that they are using this kind of imagery to divide you into thinking that there is good and evil and that we should hate one another. But in truth, all of humanity is capable of good and evil. You get to choose in this lifetime, do you want to be Christ or do you want to be the devil? By the way, Baphomet is not actually like a quote-unquote evil entity. It's just the combination of our higher self and our lower self.
This is the most haunted place in the whole of Europe. You won't believe what went on here. This right here is Housea Castle in Czechia, but is also known as the gateway to hell. Let me explain. If you look at this castle, you can see photos of windows and doors, but they're all fake. They are literally just stuck on the outside because there is no entrance to this building and no exit, let alone any windows. Because the whole building was built around this giant hole in the middle. Well, this place was used back in the 1940s towards the end of the Second World War by the Nazis. And they were using this for some insane experiments on people. Now, there isn't any information exactly what happened during this testing, but it's thought to be almost like MK Ultra, but even worse. Now, this place is actually a museum now, and you can go and visit it. People who have walked by, especially in the evening, have reported seeing strange creatures.
I believe it. Like they said, it was surrounding the hole. I wonder how many people they threw down in that hole.
People calling their names, but no one's around. Lights flickering, banging on doors and windows, and I mean, the list goes on. And if you look at some of the photos of this place, it is not short of anything but terrifying. Especially when you can imagine what actually was going on here. It's just terrifying. So yeah, make sure that follow button.
No, I can't imagine what was going on there.
And I'll see you in the next one.
SpaceX has been commissioned to destroy the International Space Station. There are currently 2 operational stations in orbit, the ISS and China's Tiangong Space Station. The station, however, is pretty old. It's been in constant use since the 90s, and it is showing signs of aging. From microscopic leaks to software glitches to the regular wear and tear of space. The ISS rotates to try and evenly distribute the 250-degree temperatures from the sun to the negative 250-degree temperatures in the dark. The materials the station is made of expand and contract under those temperature shifts, which wears down the integrity of the station. We can't just leave all this stuff up there because it will slowly and eventually deorbit, and it can't direct itself to crash because it's not a ship. Enter SpaceX. SpaceX has been given $843 million to build a vehicle to push the station out of orbit sometime after its retirement in 2030. Most of the station will burn up in the atmosphere, and the rest will crash into a remote area known as Point Nemo, which is actually Latin for nobody. A fever dream this was. We purposely crash materials all of the time, so that's not a concern. What will be interesting are the proposals to build the next one. So I am excited to see what that future might look like.
Man, that's gonna be crazy, especially if Elon Musk got something to do with it, because you know his imagination be going wild. Can you imagine what he'd have up there? I don't know. Times as hell. We'll see.
If you accidentally ate one of those guys, I want to break down what happened to you, because it was probably a little weird. It's not actually weird though, your brain was just on turbo mode for a sec. The unique combo of chemicals produced some energy in the brain. That energy was then used to amplify the operating frequency of the brain, providing greater connectivity between all of the parts. The stronger the signal of your Wi-Fi router, the more devices you can connect to that router. It's the same with your brain. Biologically, this amplification is called synesthesia. The receiver you call your brain is a filter. Using the senses as sensors, you get a human experience. But the universe is made of vibrations and frequencies. If we look at the color red, it resonates at around 430 terahertz. If you just scale that down to sonic waves, that's a G4. You can do this translation from gravity to gamma waves to matter. All frequency can be expressed in geometry. The synthesis of your senses is giving you a buffet of this geometry. If you go into the mind, that's energy. You may see these things. This is a torus. You know what these are. These are a self-contained donut of energy. Enjoy this. You could be exploring a particle or a group of atoms or even a whole mesh of matter. If it is not self-contained, it is in a vortex. If you happen to be outside of these, it could look like a bunch of snakes or a spaghetti ball. This is a beautiful thing, you lucky dog. This is how the quantum world connects to everything. If you get too close and you fall into one of these things, it may start looking like a mandala. I made a song and a video about what this possibly looks like for you. The language of the universe is geometry, and you are having a deep conversation right now. After the peak of that energy burst, you're probably going to see a lot of fractals. Fractals are just matter's reflection of energy through time, and it probably feels like you've been gone a long time. When you're not processing the senses, you're not reading a change of something over time. Your expanded awareness doesn't need space and time. Energy and matter are related through time. The veil of human experience expresses the flow of energy through geometry and fractals. You remember those over a lifetime as patterns. During this tragic accident, these...
So for the past few days, I've been excavating what turned out to be a staircase hidden in the side of my yard, full of 1940s-era soda bottles. About 3 days into the excavation, and I realized the staircase just keeps going and going. So far, the staircase is about 3 feet below grade. And I still have no idea where the hell it leads to, or what it's for. So if you want to find out with me...
I'm guessing it's probably a fallout shelter or something. Who knows? Leave a guess in the comments.
Let's, solve this little mystery.
Our most powerful leaders on Earth are actually aliens.
Most scary videos found on the internet.
You can't tell me that guy's not an alien. Straight out of Men in Black. That's something out of Men in Black. 1, 2, and 3. What in the world is going on? I'm telling you, aliens have taken over. Humans are not in charge anymore.
Doing good, Charlotte?
Whether that's good or bad, you need to judge that.
I don't know. He kind of reaching just by calling it aliens. It can be all kind of things. Who knows?
Oh, no. Something else is running our world. Thanks for watching. Stay weird.
Why did they destroy all the bells after World War II? This will not go well. Also, who's they? All the bells you ever look up, and notice how all the bells have a crack in them and they're broken. I wonder why that is. Do they? I mean, you just heard one, right? But maybe that's a small one, an outlier. Except it's not. I was in Vienna a few months ago and I heard a pretty big bell tower. Let's do some searching. It looks like it was probably the bell in the St. Stephen's Cathedral named
A dude always trying to bust somebody's bubble, ain't. Like, I couldn't imagine being around him as a kid. I probably been gotten a couple fights with him.
Marina. And a quick Google search says that it's actually the second largest swinging bell in Europe, at over 44,000 pounds. It was originally cast in 1711, but was damaged after falling to the floor in 1945 during a fire. So they recast it 6 years later, and it still rings several times a year, including, coincidentally, when I was there. No crack to be found. Because if you sit in a bell and someone hits it and it begins to resonate, you can begin to heal like that.
Not only is this a bad idea, it's dangerous to even suggest this. From my searches, the largest bell towers can be up to 125 decibels up close, and I imagine it would be significantly louder inside. And according to the American Speech, Language, and Hearing Association, volumes in the range of 120 to 130 decibels are not safe for your ears for any period of time, and this will be physically painful.
There's intention to get rid of these things so that we're dependent on a sick care system.
Citation needed. Also, they're not gone. We just don't really use them much anymore in the States. Maybe travel to Europe. You'll hear bell towers all the time.
Because sound frequency instantaneously heals the body.
There's definitely some evidence that low-frequency vibroacoustic therapy can have some benefits, such as increasing circulation, decreasing pain and stress, and increasing muscle relaxation and mobility. But it doesn't instantly heal you. This kind of rhetoric is much more dangerous than flat earth nonsense, because this is the kind of thing that convinces people seriously sick to forgo their treatment.
That's what used to happen in the cathedrals. They would ring the bells, or they would play the pipe organs, and all of the cells in the body would instantaneously become structured, which would instantly heal them.
The mechanism of vibroacoustic therapy is varied, but it doesn't structure the cells. The benefits I described earlier can be at least partially explained by the release of nitric oxide by endothelial cells, which is stimulated by vibration. They also seem to release adrenomedulin, which is a hormone that controls circulation. Of course, these are just two of many mechanisms, but none of them rely on structuring cells.
But they had to get rid of the pipe organs, which are made from lead, which is interesting.
The pipe organs never went anywhere. In fact, one of the largest pipe organs in the world is in Atlantic City. And there's plenty of ancient pipe organs in European cathedrals. I've personally seen several, one of the most impressive of which was the pipe organ in St. James Basilica in Prague. And what's with the lead comment? Lead poisoning is how we got the boomers. We could keep watching, but it's basically more of the same. Bell good, sounds healed, big conspiracy, blah blah blah.